Okay, so I think we're on. Sorry about yesterday. Sorry about yesterday. Yeah, I had some technical issues, and unfortunately, the technical issues were very silly, simple issues that I couldn't figure out why I couldn't hear myself, but now I can. So I hope everything is okay. Anyways, my today's stream, we're starting with my Instagram page, and my Instagram page basically evolved from creative portraiture, and so on into self-portraits. I have already talked about it about a couple of days ago, but I'm gonna take you through the process of how I do it, why I do it, and how it started, and so on from the beginning. And I have a PDF, created PDF, just a little bit in a nutshell, to maybe encourage people, because I get a lot of messages and with requests. How do I take self-portraits? You know, am I not too concerned, or not too shy? Quite opposite. I think I prefer it better than I used to model. Because then I have the full control of the photographs. So when I was a photography student, I would photo model, not only to make extra cash on the side, but also so I could gain the experience. And some television commercial photos and film and so on. And it gave me a broader understanding of the whole process. And I do apologize for the noises in the background, but it's very hot in here, even though in Denmark temperatures do not reach such high temperatures, but right now it's very warm. And and we just don't have air conditioning for 3 days a year, and today is the third day of the year. That's very, very hot, so we're gonna survive. Anyways, right, so I'm thinking we're gonna start, and I started by saying I get a lot of messages and why do I do it, how to get there. Are some videos in my reels when you go and you can check. I'm gonna show you some things that I have tried to explain a little bit, point by point. There are some questions. I think they're still there, so if you have any, so refer to the reels. If not, ask me directly. You can send me direct message and I'll be more than happy to answer. All right, so self-portraits. Right, we're gonna try to do it as painlessly as possible. Maybe I'll move it over here a little bit. As painlessly as possible, to the whole process, and hopefully it's not gonna take too long and I'm not gonna bore you too much. Right, so this is me with my newest funky toy, Ulanzi. It's basically a fog machine used for food photography, but I'm not gonna use it for food photography. I bought it specifically so I can use it for portraits. I used it twice already, but I have other ideas, and I'm gonna take it on location actually on Monday, and we'll see how that works. We'll be somewhere in the woods, have to charge the batteries, and hope for semi-good weather. So far it's been very bipolar. All right, so we are here. Okay, what is a self-portrait? So basically, self-portraits is a portrait, you take it of yourself. It used to be called self-portrait. Now I think with the era of technology of phones, we call it a selfie. and I also like to call it a selfie when I take it with my phone. I think in when you do your take photos with a camera, I think it's completely different. I think you actually should call it self-portrait. And why I started doing self-portraits. Okay, so that was quite accidental. I was working a lot. I was working a lot as portrait photographer. We were doing some creative work. There were also weddings. Also way back when I was living in the United States, I was also doing weddings. Came back home, and I thought that maybe weddings. Well, I still do weddings, but weddings weren't, let's say, creative enough for me. I was craving something else. But of course, if you want me to shoot your wedding, I'll be more than happy. But weddings, that's a very specific genre. It's all about capturing people in the moment. And as much as I love capturing people in the moment, I thought that I was lacking something somewhere else. So I started doing a little bit more portraiture, playing with lights, invited people over. We were doing modeling portfolios, we were publishing in magazines, we were doing we're publishing. Oh, we're doing fashion shoots, and that was extremely creative. But then I was just trying to get into the next step, to find somebody who would, for example, model for me in a little bit more unconventional way. Like we could maybe, make the person look a little bit more dirty, or that something happened, went through some sort of an accident. So I had some issues finding people. I do have on my page, if you go into my Instagram page and you scroll and scroll and scroll, we did a shoot with my amazing makeup artist, Mu, and she's just full of energy. And then we found Cecilia, and Cecilia, I told her, you know what, we have to put you in the basement as if you committed suicide or something. Create a scene that something happened, and you need to just lay down on this dirty floor that I have in the basement. I have a super creepy basement in my apartment building, and it's so charming. And we just went downstairs and started shooting. I made a snoot for my very old. That was, oh my god, that was I think 6-8 years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. And I have created a snoot out of aluminium foil, just so Mu could hold it, and I had a transmitter and a receiver on my camera, and so I could hold it. Mu could hold it right on her and just give a little bit of light, and it was a simple setup, very non-complicated, and I thought it was the best thing ever. So I found her, and then I was craving for other people just to kind of vibe the same way I thought, and we could go outside and shoot outside and get a little bit down and dirty. And this is where I was bumping into issues, like people, especially women, they want to be photographed in a way that are so pretty and beautiful, and we've done those as well, but I needed something more. I just needed something a little bit more, a little bit maybe also creepy. Why not just go a little bit creepy? So as I was finding slowly some people I could work with, and I actually can say that I think I have 2-3 people that I can work with who would vibe the same way that I am vibing, that I could maybe hang them off a tree and put them in the water, submerge them in the water, all kinds of things. I started testing a lot of things on myself, and the tests became shoots, and that's how I started basically taking self-portraits of myself, and then started editing the photos. And I thought, I can actually do this. It's less hassle. self-portraits is definitely less hassle because you don't need to coordinate date with everybody. There's always a chance. We were doing this fashion shoot, I think a couple of years ago, and the model suddenly 15 minutes before shoot, she called it off. So I was lucky enough that my makeup artist, Dina, and stylist, they came the next day, but other than that, we would have to have cancelled everything. But self-portraits, this is like a no-hassle job. The only thing that is a hassle is whether I feel like doing self-portraits or not. So if, for example, I'm tired today, so I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. So I can work my own pace and I can edit. I don't have to give people, for example, 2 weeks. I usually give 2 weeks for wedding photographs, or I give 2 weeks for fashion photography. And this is super liberating because I can take so many photographs of me or of others, of myself and not of others, and then I can take as much time as possible. I can experiment, and yeah, I'm tired, but at least the time is shorter of taking self-portraits because I skip the hair and makeup. Usually, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of makeup, and I usually don't show my face on photographs, and it's just faster process. And then so I'm saving about 2 hours. I still have about 20 minutes set up in my studio, but that also depends whether I'm going to use speedlights, strobes or not, or for example speedlight as a fill light. But usually I don't. I don't know how I came to be this strange natural light. I'm looking out the window because there's a lot of natural light. I don't know how I became this natural light photographer so far, but I repel the idea that I'm a natural light photographer. I love my strobes. I have 5 of them, and I love using them. I also have continuous lights, which I will put as number 2 over strobes. So I love my strobes, how they fire up and how I can control the light and have modifiers, and how I can just basically have full control over it. So my test shoots became, let me just see if I can actually, shouldn't be that disturbing. If that my test shoots for others became just kind of self-portraits, and that's how it started, and I like it. I can push myself to the limits, and like, if I can push myself to the limits, I would expect other people to follow me. But then again, I have experience. I was a muse to a photographer who was, when I was studying, he was also my teacher. And he would push me. We had this love-hate relationship because he could have been very nasty if I didn't follow instructions. But he was very demanding. But so we hated each other for that, because I was a little bit 19 or so, 17, between 17 and 19. And he would just push me to the limits, and I hated him for that. But in the end, he created amazing images, and I'm forever grateful, because now I know how not to work with a model, how not to be Greg. So, and I know with myself, like, okay, I can do this, yeah? So, well, thank you. Black House Visuals. Good. I'm very happy that you're here. So stick around. This is only page 2, but we're going to page 3. And okay, these 3 images are quite important to me. Okay, so how do I create them? Inspiration. All right. This is very funny because this inspiration, these photos were done with one strobe. That I had it, I was just sitting in my home studio, and I had, so something happened. this is how I got inspired by this. This is how the images got inspired by the event. So somebody I knew decided that she no longer wants to be around us at the age of 16. And she was a very gentle soul, and so the news of her passing were very hard. Yeah, they were very hard on me, and they were very shocking. So I decided that after speaking with a lot of people and getting an intake on my idea, how do I want to execute the idea, I bought a lot of fabric. I always buy a lot of fabric. When I go to the store, I know exactly what I want. So right now we are using ChatGPT, but before then, before ChatGPT, GPT, I used Midjourney, and I had paid a subscription to Midjourney. So I basically typed approximately what I wanted in Midjourney, and it gave me this idea of what I not exactly wanted, but gave me an idea of how I can actually start with this idea that we already have it on the screen. I can see both screens, but this one is a little bit bigger, but I can actually see it here as well. So I'm gonna try to focus on you. So the three images, basically there's one, the first one on the top on the left hand side is on the floor. The other one, I used a filter as well, very simple filter that I will just attach to a camera. And again, it's all nice when you have very fancy equipment, but I just basically bought a cheap filter. I attached to the camera with a tape, literally taped it to my lens, and then I was hoping that it was going to hold. So sometimes you just have to improvise, because not always you can buy things when you're when you're creating an image, and it's like it just pops right into your head. So I bought about 4 or 5 meters of tulle, red tulle, and this was always an idea. And then I bought about 400 different, like these small diamonds, beads, and I was hoping that they would be a little bit more visible. So I worked with what I had, and I glued them to the fabric. And you can see a little bit, hold on one sec, where's my mouse? A little bit over here, there are some reflections, but you can also see right on the, let's say on the skirt, some reflections as well. And especially it's very much visible right over here. So I hot glued to 400 of them. I had about 2,000 that I bought. And yeah, and then after shooting, I realized that they are not exactly doing as let's say performing as I would like it to perform. So
I'm sorry to disturb. We don't have softener, right?
no.
Okay.
Apologies. So basically what I did, I copied them into in Photoshop. Just took, for example, 1 or 2 or 3, and I just basically copied them a little bit around so I could get a little bit more visibility and give them a little bit more visibility to those beads. Yeah, so that was the inspiration. Was a tragic event. That was the inspiration. The idea behind it was red as a color, I suppose, of a little bit warmth and love. And the beads are, when you go on my Instagram page, you will see that the music behind it is Palais Royal, Lifeless Stars. So each of the beads was supposed to represent a person that has had issues and problems that maybe we as adults choose to ignore them, but they basically represent them. My executions I already mentioned. I took a strobe. I hang it way above myself, and I started just firing up, and that's about it. And then I took three different poses. So the one on the top is on the floor. The one next to it on the top, I was sitting on my chair, and then this one on the bottom is I was laying down on the chair. That was a very painful process. The retouching, so that was execution. The retouching to the final image. Okay, I actually didn't have to do a lot of retouching. Apart from copying the beats, so there will be a lot more of them. But I didn't have to retouch that much. Definitely not myself. There was no skin retouching, pretty much none. I did darken the picture a little bit, and I gave it a little bit more contrast, popped the contrast, and that was basically it. So it was a very, let's say, easy setup, and the execution of it was also, I didn't want to overcomplicate it, based on the fact that this was actually an inspired by sad events. So I wanted to do it as easy as possible. So that was my creative process for those things. But with other images like the ones that we have on the top, as also, I mean, this is just me and chair sitting on the chair. Trust me, the pose was very painful. The pose was very painful. Right on the side, there is just it's this piece of paper. It's a piece of brown paper, nothing more. And of course, my fog machine Ulanzi. And I was just holding it, and that's about it. So nothing to, I didn't try to overthink it. Okay, now we're going a little bit different, because like I said, the genre is every day is something different. Okay, the tools that I use. Lights. So I already mentioned I have about 5 strobes. I have one speed light for my camera. I usually work with Godox. Don't ask me why. I think they're a little bit more budget friendly, and I think that's actually good, because you shouldn't really overthink. The first thing that people do is like they try to buy all these expensive equipment. And the more equipment you have, then you start thinking, I actually don't need so much. But I have Mylar, I have cinefoil, I have all kinds of modifiers. So I did them because I bought them because I really wanted to see how everything works, and now I'm shooting most of my images in natural light. Not because I'm a natural light photographer, like I said, but because I am, because I would like to set it up very quickly. So from the more quick setup, the better is for me. Okay, so like I said, I work in Godox. I do some self-portraits with lights, but there's one difference. When I do the lights, they usually need to be connected to the camera, and the way you connect it to the camera is by using a receiver. So when I have a receiver, I can no longer use my receiver and transmitter. I can no longer use my receiver and transmitter as a shadow release. Sorry, as a shadow release tool. Right, cloths. It's not clothes, it's cloths. I do buy some clothes for shoots. I'm a huge fan of what are they called, loppenmagel, of flea markets. I love them, love to go in shopping and as cheap as possible. And I also would like to advise everybody, keep it as cheap as possible, as cheap as possible. So on the top here, I have right here, that's piece of paper, right over here. Nothing more than a skirt made of piece of paper. Right on the side, it's the same piece of paper. It's just a little bit less of it. I think I might have shot these two images same time, maybe? I think so. Bandages that I actually bought them from a cheap online site. Because trust me, in Copenhagen, when you go to buy bandages, they cost like from 50 to 80 crowns per bandage. And it's like not much of it. So I'm thinking, I need meters and meters and meters. So where do you go? You go online and buy as cheap as possible. So that's what I bought. The heart that I purchased, the heart that I purchased was from Halloween store, also online. I think it was Frugal that they had some Halloween sale. It came a heart and a brain. Go figure. The brain I have not used yet. Yeah, sounds funky. I use 100% of mine. I'm kidding. So it came as a set and I think, okay, that's fine. I didn't know, actually, I couldn't visualize how big the heart was, but it's actually quite nice and big, and on my hands is nothing more than a red paint that I bought from Sustainable. Very efficient. The one on the side is okay. The branches were for one photo shoot, so I like to reuse them. The branches will show up later as well, so I like to reuse as many things as I possibly can. I mean, I think the bandages, I ended up throwing it away because they were so cheap and they were just ripping as I was taking them off, and I could not have reused them again. They were literally in despair, but so the one on the side here, that image, the fallen angel, the branches, I have actually a reel how I did them. The fallen angel has, there were branches that I just picked up from a forest. Nothing too complicated. So a lot of cloths, for example, that you can turn into a skirt, a dress. I did this photo shoot for a magazine with an actress, and we were like, we don't have a clothing, and we wanted to turn her into like this water goddess and so on. So I basically went to the store, bought two types of blue fabric. We went in there. I think I tested the fabric also on myself, but it just didn't work on me so much. So we went to a location. I shot it. We shot her with the blue fabric. It went all dirty, washed it. We can reuse it next time. So pretty much you can buy a piece of cloth and you can turn it into a dress, and you don't have to overthink it. So think cheap, and think how you can get things from people, from maybe they want to throw something away. I mean, you can use so many things and then reuse them and then just throw them in somewhere, or simply give them another life and just sell them online, or give them to the next artist. So ordinary things in an extraordinary way. So yeah, I mean, like the paper, for example, it's an ordinary thing. It's a brown packing paper, nothing more. So photography is a visual problem solving to create something interesting out of something ordinary. Pretty much. I don't think you can see that quote. Now you can see the quote. And it is a quote, famous quote. Don't know who said it, but he said it. And I think that is actually very important to not to overthink things and just take ordinary things, but try to think outside the box. So a lot of people go outside and like, okay, I need to do this and that, and I've seen those flowers, but it's fine doing flowers, but make it your own. that will stand out as this is actually your image. Okay. And so we come to the next one. So every photographer's process will be different. It's true. Every photographer's process is different. This is actually me on a family vacation. Ish. As family vacation-ish. And there was a low tide. It was very smelly at the time. And I have seen images already of people, women, men on the beach, and this one was amazing because there was a low tide. There was like a bird that has gone through some kind of cat chase, and the poor fellow wasn't among us anymore. So I used the bird as well. I didn't place it on myself. I photographed the bird separately. I'm going to show you the image. I placed the bird separately in Photoshop on myself, adding some other things. So, but yeah, take inspiration. Make your images based on how you feel in the very moment, whether it is positive or a negative emotion. And I stand by it. I think overthinking the whole process and only trying to, this is what I try to do. I try to stick to one thing. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm not gonna, maybe I shouldn't really do that one thing. Maybe I should do a little bit more. So one more. Okay, so portraits and then the weddings. But yeah, but weddings pay the money. Okay, but I was very undecided. Then I started self-portraits, and portraits, and then self-portraits. Like, okay, but how? I was also like, so what do I do? Like, how do I photograph myself? And the more I started to overthink things, the more I was confused, like, what do I actually want to do? And so I stopped overthinking. I'm like, I'm just gonna go with the flow. The flow was basically like this, from every direction. But in the end, I think this is actually good, because whether you create something beautiful with yourself, of yourself, or something super creepy, this is kind of, you're photographing yourself and in that moment. I have a lot of fun doing what I do. Trust me, I am not afraid to get down and dirty. And the more I can do things like lay down here on this low tide, these stones, they were basically rocks on the beach that we were by the German border, in a town called Obenrau, and there was a lot of I ended up swimming in the water either way, just a little bit further down where the beach was beautiful, but right this side of the beach it was just very rocky, and there were a lot of these it was covered with this grass, this seaweed, and it was super slippery. And I thought, okay, this is actually perfect. This is perfect. We can work with that. And it stunk beyond. Oh my God, it was just unbelievable how it smelled. But in the end, I was very surprised. So the image was a little bit different. The bottom was exactly like that. Of course, I had to work a little bit in Lightroom. Actually, yeah, a little bit in Photoshop, a little bit in Lightroom. In the end, and the clouds, that's a preset. Okay, so we have the image with the birdie, and that's right, this one over here. And this is my encouragement for everybody. Challenge yourself. So challenge I think for the most part, I would say challenge your emotions. So challenge love. I mean, love can be very beautiful, but love can also be very painful. And I'm thinking, why don't we challenge that, for example? Why don't we challenge our emotions in a either positive or negative way? People usually try to, unhappy people try to challenge that in a negative way, happy people usually in a positive way. I'm challenging in both, not because I'm happy or unhappy. I'm actually a very happy person. But again, it comes to challenging myself, like how I would like to show it and view it at this point. So that's the whole philosophy. So challenge emotions. We have love, we have happiness, we have fear, we have trauma, and there are so many ways that you can do it. And I do encourage, you don't have to talk about it publicly of what you go through, but do it quietly, I suppose, in the comfort of your own house or of your own, with your own camera. But try to do it in a way that is comfortable for you. So that would be my suggestion. And then it says, well, I wrote, figure out your muses, what is giving you inspiration, and the aha moment, and keep doing that. So you have that, okay, this is it, this is what I have done, this is what I'm going to do. I love that. That's your aha moment. So yeah, I think it's very important. It can also be very liberating because it gives you like a boost of going forward with it. Yeah, also happiness with fear and trauma. I think it's very important that that you also challenge those emotions. Like, I understand we like to see beautiful images. Well, people like to see beautiful images. Doesn't mean that we want to create beautiful images. I have heard from my assistant saying, why, I pitched him the idea, and he's like, why does everything have to be so creepy with you? I don't remember what the idea was. But it's not about making it creepy, it's about really challenging myself. So the picture on the side, right, this one, so it's basically long exposure and me with a blue cloth that I've already used a couple of times during my time shooting. That was actually one of the cloths that I have. One of the two cloths that I have that I bought for a magazine shoot, and we put Margaret on the cover, and it was nice and great, and then I ended up reshooting myself with it. So what I was doing right over here, I wanted to create a little bit moody picture, and as you can see, I always cover my face, but this is what I look like, so not afraid to show it, but I just don't think this is so important in the pictures. I'm very critical of the way I show my expressions. If I don't like it, I'm gonna scratch the entire project. So very moody, a little bit darker, and yeah, of course, the whole shoot was without any clothes on and so on. So it's also, I hope everybody feels very comfortable with themselves. We look the way we look, and we're all just beautiful people, really. So don't be afraid to actually show it and express it. So what I was doing, I was taking long exposure. This one, most of my pictures, they come accidentally. They come out accidentally. I was just taking the fabric, which was just tossing it up and down and up and down. Like, would just toss it a little bit quickly, take a pose, toss it again, and it would just fall. And when I set my camera to take pictures, it usually takes 9 photos, 9 frames, and yeah, and that's about it, pretty much. And then I just do it again and again and again, and then when I think it's okay, so I just check it. I do apologize for the little bit noise in the background other than music, but it's, like I said before, it's hot and I need to have a fan running. Okay, mood board. This is actually original. These photographs that you see over here, they're actually original photographs that were here in the right here in the preset of the PDF that I was creating for you today. So mood board is important. Mood board is basically for your creative process for photography, also self-portraits. Why is it important? Because you place your ideas in the mood board when you know what you approximately want to do. So place your ideas right in the mood board, print it, print the entire mood board. Doesn't have to be overly complicated. You basically have to do 1 or 2 pages. That's it. Give yourself an idea of what you want, how you want to shoot it, and the pictures, you actually don't have to take them from your previous work. They can be just downloaded from the internet, other artists that you want to be inspired, or maybe situations. And why is it important? Because you're creating a mood board based on inspiration. That's pretty much how I think. And you're inspired by other people, and so that's why you're creating mood boards inspired by other people. This one is actually, I left it untouched, this one. It's for a fashion brand portfolio. I like the layout, the very calm layout. I thought it would work here, but yeah, the creative process of a mood board is really not complicated. And so again, don't overcomplicate things, yeah? So that's very simple. All right. Archive your ideas. So this is going to be where to find, yeah, archive your ideas. This is very important, to archive ideas. Let me just grab a drink. Lemon water, freshly squeezed lemon and honey. It's amazing. So archive your ideas. Now these 2 images, they look funky. This one was done on the floor. I was sitting. The bruises were actually done in Photoshop. I have presets, so they were done in Photoshop. And the picture on the right hand side, okay, this was a very painful. So I got a ladder from my basement, and what I did is I placed the ladder. I was doing 2 or 3 shoots that day. I placed the ladder and I was just lying down on the ladder as much as bent as I could bend myself as possible. How I did not fall off the ladder with the ladder, I don't know, but I didn't. And so in Photoshop, I still bent my body just a little bit more. And I added some fabric overlays to the image. And of course, a different background. I removed the ladder because that was not supposed to happen there. And that was the final image. So I do use Photoshop. I do play with Photoshop. Yeah, so just wanted to give you a little understanding on this, just 2 pictures. Those are also self-portraits. Yeah. So archive your ideas. Where to find inspiration? Okay, that's very easy. Start with your house, your home, your apartment, your flat, however you call it, wherever you are. Find it there. It could be a book. You could, maybe from a children's book, a drawing, or artwork that you have in your house. Basically, anything that you have around the house could inspire you. You would be surprised how many things you can actually do with kitchen items, like forks and knives, and casting just a shadow, or using, for example, a colander to drain pasta, and then use that as your modifier. You would be surprised how many things you can do with everyday items. So home is what I would suggest that you do first. Films. Oh my god, I love films. Films and music, I'm all about it. Films can be very inspirational. That depends on your genre that you like. Could it be, from those that you need the tissue in the end, maybe different for guys and maybe different. Could be bottle of wine. It could be a bottle of wine. Henrik, if you drink enough, then you get a lot of inspirations. Films, definitely. You know, guys may like to have tissue for different reason, and ladies for different reason. But whatever the reason is, I think it's nice to watch a lot of films. I like some horror films, a little bit creepy things. I like films that mess up with your head in the end. But other than that, it's you know, it's a good source of inspiration. Museums, right? Museums, definitely. And I would suggest that you take your phone. I mean, obviously you're gonna have it, but take your phone or take some sort of camera. Take a lot of pictures. And start doing, you know, taking photographs of the artwork, because that you can actually use it either for your let's say a pose or inspiration. If you shoot in high resolution, you can actually use some parts of it later and just add it in Photoshop. I mean, the sky is the limit. Art galleries. So difference between museums and art galleries, of course we know what they are, but art galleries as well. Go to some exhibitions, and then see what it is. I have purchased a couple of things myself because I wanted to have them, and you know, I always appreciate when somebody gives me something that is, you know, a little bit artsy, that I can use it later maybe, or get myself inspired by it. So definitely everyday situations and or objects. So again, I already mentioned everyday situation. So it's everyday situation would be the you know, the emotion based situation. That could also be like with what happened to the little girl. So that's everyday situations. That could also be a little bit of sorrow in your life, or happiness, and or you can drain energy, let's say drain energy from other people and their experience in situations. And our objects, I mean, definitely. I mean, there's so many objects that can inspire. A painting, a drawing, like I said, kitchen items, you know, you name it. Why not? And of course, other photographers. Oh my God, we all kind of follow more or less each other, and we look at each other's work, and we definitely inspire one another. It doesn't matter if you, for example, take self-portraits of fashion. Just try to look at other photographers with other genres to see what they're doing, because I think that's that can be very inspirational. Whether you want to create an image that is a little bit more creepy, but keep it within the fashion industry, or do you want to do something else, like very, you know, beautiful, but you want to take it in a specific way because you just got inspired by other photographers. I absolutely encourage. And then don't copy it, but make it your own. I think that's important. Okay. Archive your ideas and write them down. Your phone. Okay, this is gonna be embarrassing, but I'm gonna show you. This is gonna be embarrassing, but I will I will show you. Okay, so pictures. So for example, screenshots. I take a lot of screenshots. Right now I have 538 screenshots on my phone. And those screenshots are basically all inspirations. They're all inspirations from other photographers. And I like to go back and look at them and archive them. And even though I have over 500 of them, and now I see, for example, that I already forgot what was my very first screenshot, I just like to come back to them and look at them and see what else I can create. Your iPad, your tablet, there's a great website called Pinterest, and yeah, I recently got kicked out of Pinterest, so I created a new account. I guess I violated some community guidelines. I apologize for that. My idea was not to be too explicit, but I really wanted to show off my work. But mainly, Pinterest has great ideas, whether it's AI or other photographers. There are many ideas on Pinterest. What I do is I take my tablet. I have Pinterest in there, and instead of downloading the photographs, I will just take my phone and just start taking pictures right off my tablet as an inspiration. So I have a lot of those as well. Piece of paper, right, of course, piece of paper. I mean, there's nothing better than writing ideas in a piece of paper. You can actually draw, and you can draw your setup. So that's fantastic. I always have a piece of paper and a pen, old school, old-fashioned way in my backpack. Recordings. Okay, that's interesting. I send myself recordings of ideas. If I cannot, for example, write them down or so, then I will, maybe, for example, it's very cold outside. So what I will do is I will just send myself a recording via Messenger, and I will tell myself what I would like to do and what is my idea, how I would like to execute them. I already mentioned screenshots, but there's also one thing. I have notes in my phone. So basically, all of those, they're also notes of my ideas for photos. And so I'll also do some, let me see this one. Okay, so I will also do some drawings, and then write them down, and then just draw. I cannot draw, but it works. I mean, it works for me, and it's like, okay, so this is something that I can do. I have a lot of those in my phone. So pretty much that's it. I mean, the sky is the limit of how you can archive your ideas. Okay. So wide range of photographs show actually who you are. Okay, all of those are my photographs. So we're gonna start with the first one, with the butterflies. There are a lot of ideas out there, but I wanted to make it my own as well. There are a lot of ideas out there. With the same is basically smoke coming out of people. That was my vision, my idea of the photograph. The second one, the mask that I have on. The mask, I have actually 3 masks now. And this is the very first and original one. It's of my own face. So I basically put my own face on my own face. The next one, the demon. Yeah. So then from the demon, we're moving from the demon over here, we're moving to something a little bit more, pretty. Let's say pretty. Again, it was an idea that I wanted to do. The hand on the doll was very accidental. I couldn't see anything, so I was trying to feel the head of the baby, the doll, and I wanted to turn it a little bit more to the camera. But in the end, that one shot that I was not supposed to have happened became the final shot. That was also inspired by something that I have seen on Pinterest. And then I generated my own idea in ChatGPT, and then I created that as my own. And I heard that I'm supposed to I will have to answer a lot of questions regarding that, and apologies. I do not apologize for my pictures. So the next one is also me. That's the pink series. There are 3, but I'm only showing 2 right here in the PDF. Yeah, so basically from something creepy to something beautiful, to something, I don't know, painful. I think it just shows basically who we are as photographers or self-portrait photographers. the photograph, this one. Okay. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, another women problem thing." It's not a women problem. The absolutely was not supposed to have been some women menstrual. It was inspired by Japan. When I went there, I've witnessed a lot of things in Japan that I was a little bit surprised to see. So that shot was inspired by the Japanese culture. The part that shocked me, that was basically it. And of course here the bondage, that was also inspired more by emotions of being tied into something or someone without kind of leaving or having the opportunity to leave and to go. And the last one, okay, that's a funky one. I felt this wasn't supposed to have happened this way. This was supposed to have been completely different image, but because I fell off the chair with the chair, and I tore the floor of my background, I thought it looked somewhat interesting, so I left it the way it was. So it was basically, I didn't get up. I was laying on the floor. The camera was shooting. I was laughing. I had 2 bruises on my leg, and in the last right, this one, I had 2 bruises on my leg, and basically that was it. And then I thought, you know what? Since I'm already on the floor and the floor is also ripped, I'm thinking I'm just gonna turn my head to the side and I will lift the chair. I lifted the chair with my left leg, and the other one really was just resting. So it was a little bit painful experience for my left foot. And I think that's about it. I wanted to just to give a little bit information about my the thing that I do. I've had some exhibitions and I'm super proud about them. I'm supposed to have one also in Greece, in Athens, in October. So maybe I'll go there personally, maybe I won't. So let's see what happens. But honestly, I love to do it. Yeah, and I encourage a lot of people to do it as well. Just take selfies. Be selfish and take selfies. Find me on social media. You can contact me via Instagram. That's the best way and fastest way to contact. All prints are available via direct purchase only. So basically, I'm not associated with any gallery exclusive. So all prints will come in limited edition and come with certificates of authenticity and with my own signature. So yeah, but so if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do it is via social media, which is Instagram. I am all the time on Instagram. I run my business from Instagram, via Instagram. So that's about it. We've done it successfully. I apologize for the noises in the background. Again, I have some fans around because it's hideously hot, but perhaps next time it will not be as hot, and we can talk about something else. Definitely will prepare something for you. Right, so keep an eye on my stories. I usually run announcements on my stories. I'm no longer available to do stories on Instagram. Sorry, live shows on Instagram, but keep an eye on my stories. That's where I post the most announcements. Yeah, so